headed to California today to be with Kesha and her church, and woke up to a little bit of a surprise. You ready? Snow! So, starting the day in the snow, and this suitcase of mine and I are going to end the day in California, hopefully in the sun. Kesha Griffin knows a lot about the power of hospitality. As a child, her father came and went and did some jail time. Kesha felt a deep sense of hurt from his broken promises. But then, Kesha experienced the power of forgiveness.
We all need to be forgiven, and we all need to forgive.
She realized how much she had been forgiven. So she tried to renew her relationship with her father.
The alternative to becoming bitter is receiving the grace that God wants to give you to deal with that circumstance.
She invited her father to the church where her husband Charles is the pastor, and she invited him into their home. That's not the only powerful story of hospitality Kesha and her church have to tell. I'm headed to LA to learn more.
Good to see ya.
When your hurt's too much to bear, I can't make it disappear, but I know how to weep with those who weep.
What is the church community? Who are we? What do we do?
Yeah.
And showing biblical hospitality is who we are. This is what we do.
Laugh and cry a tear. Say yes to trust and no to fear. Do you know you're welcome here with me? Do you know you're welcome here?
You see me before, but not in person.
Hi guys.
That's my mom.
You can call me Cece. Everybody call me Cece, but my name is Cecilia. I know you because I see you on.
As she began to serve as a pastor's wife, hospitality didn't come naturally to Kesha.
I struggled with being an isolationist. Because I do have a background of childhood abuse, sexual abuse trauma, and so one of the ways I cope is to isolate. My husband would invite, church family over, and I would just kind of give him a hard time because I just wanted to go home and be by myself, and it caused somewhat of division. I'm thinking we went to church, we did the church thing, we stayed long, we fellowshiped at church. Now this is my time. Let me go into my own comfort zone. And so it caused a bit of an issue because I didn't want to fellowship. And so I remember clearly driving and being convicted by the Spirit that I was just being selfish. And I used the excuse that this is just how I dealt with my issues of abuse. I would just clam up and I would isolate. I was used to being alone, but as a mature believer, I'm supposed to be able to fellowship. And I just remember being convicted and I just wept.
Kesha publicly repented. She and Charles and all of Dayspring Church worked to become a place where hospitality would be on display.
My husband always tries to ensure that visitors feel welcome. He's like, members, you guys know each other. You're going to talk to each other. You'll have time for that. Go and be intentional about making our visitors feel welcome. So that's just kind of the culture of our church. We all kind of flock to the visitors. And so that's just our normal way we treat our visitors.
I know it's your normal.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's not the capital C church normal.
I know. And that's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking.
It is.
Cynthia Davis knows firsthand that churches sometimes fail to show hospitality. We'll get into that in a minute. But first, I'll give you some background on Cynthia. Up until she was 21 years old, she experienced good health. But in her early 20s, she had problems with the muscles in her neck.
When I used to I was going to college, I used to walk with my head pushing forward, when I used to tilt all the way back.
Friends thought she was sticking her neck up out of pride.
Yeah, I used to get teased. People thought, people used to say, oh, she thinks she's cute. No.
But a neurologist diagnosed Cynthia's problem. It was a rare disease called dystonia. It caused involuntary muscle movement, similar to cerebral palsy or Parkinson's disease. It turns out that Cynthia's mom had dystonia, and so did Cynthia's 5 siblings, including her sister Diana. Her physical symptoms led to other difficulties.
Before I used to have my hand and some of that,
Just feel insecure.
Yeah, insecure, and I couldn't express myself. I just wanted to go quiet.
Diana's son Nicholas enjoyed health until relatively recently, when he started showing symptoms.
It affects my speech
Okay.
a lot. It also affects my muscle.
Movement.
Just
Spasms.
movement. Okay. Spasms.
Yeah,
Does it hurt, Nicholas? Did your spasm hurt?
it does hurt.
Unfortunately, their own blood family disowned them because of their disability. They were missing that intimacy of a true family.
And this, just for context, they have a large extended family.
Very large extended
6 siblings,
Yes.
but then uncles and
Uncles,
aunts and
yep.
cousins.
Yes.
And for the most part, that entire extended family has turned their back on them because their needs are so great.
Their needs are so great. They need, caretakers. They need just all of their physical needs have to be met.
The Davis family was facing these struggles without knowing Jesus. Cynthia wanted to learn more about the Lord, and she even visited several churches. But over and over, she received the message, "You're not welcome here." One church especially stands out in her mind.
Well, this church was a big church, so I went there, and I said, can nobody greet me? Nobody walking by me, I said, I'm looking for somewhere to sit, no one to give me a place to sit. I said, what's wrong with this church,
You were in a church.
Yes.
And nobody was hospitable to you.
No one.
Nobody said hello.
How you
Did you
doing?
take your walker?
Yeah, I had my
You were on your walker?
I had my walker,
And
yeah.
nobody accommodated that for you?
Nobody accommodated, no say hello.
It makes me
no
really
that.
sad.
Yeah, no, they have the seat so you can sit here, I'm like, what's wrong with this church, And I sat there and I listened to the sermon, I'm like, I want to leave. I felt really hurt, No one said hello, no one offered me the seat that I found one that was empty, and I sat down. And I'm like, no, I said, and then I see people, all well dressed, walking around. I said, what's this, fashion show or what? Or they came here to listen to the word, So I was saying to myself, what are you here for a fashion show? But anyway, I left and never came back.
While your story is poignant, it's certainly not the first and only time I've heard it. I went to a church, nobody spoke to me, nobody offered to help get my kids in the nursery, nobody, said sit with me, and that's a very lonely feeling. Especially when you're expecting, these are Christians. These, if I could find welcome anywhere, I should be able to find among Christians.
And
warmth. And I love the church. I'm not pointing fingers, but it really does have a profound impact on people, and they don't experience that.
Cynthia felt done visiting churches, but a member of Dayspring invited Cynthia to visit and kept asking her for over a year.
Can you imagine having a disability and not having true family, and it's just your small family of 3, and coming into a church?
Especially when you had tried that before.
When you tried it before.
And experienced the same kind of rejection you experienced from your family.
Being overlooked, not being greeted. And so that's a little, scary and intimidating.
For sure.
Immediately, these 2 right here came out, hugged me and said hello, and then the other members too, you hug and say hello, welcome,
we just welcomed them as if they were a part of our family already.
And a year later, she came to faith in Jesus. Cynthia brought Diana and Nicholas to Dayspring, and they came to know Christ as well. Kesha's mom, Cece, became a caregiver for Cynthia, offering what I think is another form of hospitality.
Tried to retire, but it didn't.
It didn't happen.
Good help was hard to find.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I very much think of caregiving as ministry. Do you see caregiving as ministry?
I never really looked at it as ministry. This is something that we're called to do.
Yeah.
You know, to love, and that's part of it. You know.
We're called to do it, but not everybody does it.
That's right.
That's true. That's right.
Well,
And so
and
they
in
would
the
still-
new heaven and the new earth, we won't need caregivers because nobody
Yes.
will be sick. But here, I mean, God's people, it is something we're called to do. We're supposed to love one another. And so I think it's ministry. These kinds of connections don't happen on a Sunday morning service. I'm grateful for Sunday morning service.
Yes.
It
we
has
need
its
to preach
place.
word, right? We need to preach
Absolutely.
word.
Going to church.
Yes, and the worshiping with the
Worship.
saints.
Yeah.
Yes.
Forward to Bible study.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But this happens as an outflow of hospitality.
Yes.
Of you're welcome in my home, you're welcome in my heart, you're welcome in my life, you're welcome in the messy parts of my life.
Yes.
And I'm going to get in the messy parts of your life because you need me
You
to.
need me to, yes.
And so it's necessary.
I see them growing not just closer to the Lord, but also more confident that they are in the image of God still, even with their physical disability.
You know what that word for that is? Dignity.
Dignity.
They have dignity.
That is the word.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that comes from knowing
That's the word.
I'm made in the image of God. I have value no matter what happens to my hands.
Yes.
No matter what happens to my neck.
Yes.
Or if my speech continues to slur.
Yes.
I have dignity because God made me.
Because God made me. And that has allowed them to open up their heart and their home to others now.
Yeah.
So it's funny because we think of this, they have limitations, and so they can't physically get up and serve.
Yeah.
But they have grown to the point, and we've helped them understand that they still can be used by God where they are. So no, you can't get up and physically help us or, make a plate or serve us, but you can open up your home. That's what you can do.
And so, the woman who had been so hurt by the church, she never wanted to go back. And the pastor's wife, who wanted time to herself, they now get together almost every Sunday.
I don't have another family but my church family. That's all I have. That's all I know. Because my biological family, my siblings, my mother say, were not there for us.
Yeah.
That's so painful.
Yeah.
Because I'm called Cece, called Kesha. And then husband, I called Pastor and said, Pastor, I'm not feeling good. Pray for me. I can call. How can I call my friend, my aunt, my uncle, my cousin? I called them.
Yeah.
I called my sister when she had
your family.
Yeah. I called them. So I don't have nobody but them. So like it's my church family. I don't have nobody.
That's why God put us in your life.
I don't have nobody else.
You do. You have us.
Part of my story is when I read those verses about my father forsakes me, you will take me in. Everybody has a version of that, of like, my family, my biological family is not fully able to meet my need. There's something missing.
Something missing.
And there's a reason why Scripture calls us the family of God. We become a new family.